Melanin Voices is a podcast geared towards building a community of those on a journey of self-discovery. We create space for guests and listeners to share their stories about their exploration of life, appreciation of the good, and how they overcame certain bullshit to get to where they are.
Every week, we take a dive into topics that affect each of our lives at one point or another. Hopefully, by hearing our voices, we will give you the courage to live authentically.
I'm Mariah, also known as Mariah Amazing.
And Yuna, hey! Now you are tuned into Melanin Voices.
Ready?
Let's do it. Hey guys.
Hey everyone.
Welcome to
Melanin Voices podcast.
Yes.
Which you just heard our intro.
Weird. Okay.
I know.
So this week we have a special guest on the show. Her name is Sarah Naomi. You gotta say it together, okay? So I'm actually gonna start out with the story of how we met. I saved this. I didn't want you to know. That's why I never told you like who she is or what she does, because
she's hella fake.
Because you was gonna be like, what the fuck?
I was gonna be like, she's hella fake. Like
so
I am now.
I was at a concert for I don't even know who, and
CeeLo.
Yeah, CeeLo.
Wow, she's so fake.
But that's not why I went there.
Okay, well I know why you went there.
Exactly. So I went to the bathroom, and there was a bathroom attendant there, and the bathroom attendant happened to be Sarah Naomi. So I don't remember how we got to talking, but something just like attracted me to her. And then we talked for like 10 minutes, and then I used the bathroom finally, which is what I went in there for, and then I left. Before that, so there she has this fish bowl. She had a fish bowl in the bathroom, which I thought was really sweet. So it had like affirmations, I guess you can say, or like little sweet notes to give the girls who come into the bathroom. So I thought that was like really sweet. And I hate when you stare at me like that.
When I speak, you guys, I like to look people into their eyes.
But it's so weird.
To actually care what they're saying.
So
and you
weird.
doesn't like me to look at her.
Because I feel like you're looking at me like, what are you talking about?
I don't look at you like, what are you talking about?
I feel like you do. But anyway.
Well, that is something that you have to internalize and kind of get.
Okay, you're right. I need to be more confident in myself, so
yes.
You can look at me how you want to, okay?
Or just look at you when you're talking. Give you that respect.
Anyways.
Go ahead.
So we were talking about everything. I don't know if you remember what we were talking about, but we were talking about a lot of different stuff. You were talking about that girls group. We talked about literally everything. So I didn't find out who she was until I started following her on Instagram later on. But anyways, if you're wondering what the little note said, it said, you are pretty and fine. You are beautiful and fine. And I thought that was so funny and so cute because we don't compliment each other a lot. And it was really nice to get it like in an unexpected way in the bathroom. And I'm like, what made you want to do this? Why are you...
Pause. I thought of something else.
You're so corny.
You're the one that said it. I was it was really unexpected to get like that in the bathroom. Just saying, sis.
So,
pause.
Anyways, if you want to tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do if you want, or just kind of.
So that it's funny that you shared that story because when my So I was in like a situation, like I needed a very specific amount of money by a specific date.
Yes, I remember that.
And so I just like asked, like the universe or what, I just like asked out loud, like, give me something. Mm-hmm. And the next day, my brother-in-law texted me like, yo, I have this bathroom attendant gig. It paid the specific amount of money that I needed. And, and I would get it in like, I would work for 3 days and that was done. So, but of course, I was like, bathroom attendant? No. Like that was my initial response. But then I was like, you're not going to ask.
Right.
Yeah. For a very specific thing and then turn your nose up at it when it's presented to you. And so I decided if I'm going to do it, that I have to like show all the way up. And so,
do it in your way.
Yeah, do it in a way that feels like authentic to me. And so I took my little affirmation basket and I wrote affirmations. So that's actually, I have to give credit to Lady Speech because that's who I got the idea from. She is just a dope, like witchy human who leaves like lipstick affirmations on windows throughout the city and whatnot.
Oh, that's so cute.
So anyway, and it was interesting because I was not seen by very many people. Do you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like many people were like, yeah, they're doing their own thing. And not very many people were like, whoa, you're a person here. Let me talk to you. So that was cool.
That's life, though. I think people just don't really pay attention to other people.
For sure, yeah.
Until they have to. But the whole thing about you saying you asked for it and then you kind of turn your nose up at it when you got it, that reminds me of like a Bible story when I think I've talked about this before. There's a guy, I don't even know who the guy was. He was drowning or something like that, and he prayed to God to send him a rescue to get him out of the water, and there were maybe 3 boats that came by trying to help him, and he was like, nah, God got me. But so I think he ended up drowning. But the thing is, like, God was like, I sent you all these helps, saviors, and you turn your nose at them. So, or even I know, like, when we're in relationships and we ask for signs and symbols telling us which way to go, and we get them and we're like, oh, that wasn't it, or that. So that kind of reminded me of that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So it's interesting. So I was really intrigued by like what y'all do, just based on the fact that you stopped and like talked, and I was like, this is cool. By the 3rd day, I was ready to cuss everybody out. Like, it was not, I didn't show up all loving like the whole time I was there like I would have liked. I was just so exhausted by the 3rd day. But, so yeah, what do I do? I'm currently a college student at Metro. Yeah.
Get your learn on.
Yeah, so I've just completed my first semester back. And it was really cool. You know, just being back in school, like, especially at my age, is a different experience because everything that I'm learning, I can apply to, like, you know, this larger span of life that I've already lived. And I'm a mama of 2 super cute little kids, and I teach yoga, and I study yoga, and I also study, like, social issues. And
is that what you're going to school for?
Yes. Yes, it is. I mean, it's something that I've always been passionate about. So somehow, whatever I'm doing, I find a way to like integrate my interests and passions.
That's good. I think that's a great way to go. I was listening to this podcast today. I don't even remember what it was. Something that a friend suggested, and that was basically it. Just kind of like falling into your thoughts and kind of making whatever you're doing, making it you, making it, you know, making it you. So I think that that's super important to live in a healthy life.
Yeah.
Because I think you go to work and you think you have to take your whole self out of the equation and who you are and your likes, and that's not the truth.
Your quirks, like all those things, yeah.
Yeah, you feel like you have to leave them at the door, but that's not the case, and that's not how you work in a healthy environment, in my opinion.
No, I agree. And I think that there's just so many people on the planet. There's so many like opportunities to do work that aligns with your own values. You know what I mean? Like, there are these ways in which you can step into sort of an already formed kind of cookie cutter thing, and that can work for certain things. And if that's not working for you, there are also ways to kind of create what you want for yourself. So
yeah, so this is how our conversation went when we first met. We talked like this for a good little minute. So I don't know, something just was like, you know, get her information and follow up with her. I think a lot of these situations happen to me and I let them pass by, but I'm like, not this time. So I may not have known everything about you or what you did or anything like that, but it honestly didn't matter because I seen that you have good conversation, and that's what this podcast is about, you know, making a community of people from all walks of life. So it really didn't even matter what you did. I just noticed that you had good conversation. So are you ready to get into the melanin message? Because we just were having girl talk just now. Yeah. Are you ready?
You can.
Why are you being so quiet, Mariah?
I'm always quiet when you have guests on. I want to hear about them.
Okay. Look at Walt's face.
I always think that I'm talkative, but I always feel like I let our guests speak. Maybe not with y'all, but with guests, I let them talk.
Okay. Just wondering.
So I don't let guests talk. Okay.
No, you do, but usually you have like follow-ups. So that's why
I'm letting you guys talk.
I appreciate that. So getting to the message. I was laughing at us. What is your passion project?
Right now.
Exactly, yeah.
Exactly. because it shifts. I kind of have like two, but the one, I'll start with the first one that's not as big. I teach sewing classes, and I'm really interested in upcycled sewing. So like there was one episode that I listened to of y'all's where you were talking about cotton and recycling cotton. You were talking about, yes, you were talking about underwear. You were talking about recycling. And I was like talking to you through I was like, so there is a way, but
hold up. Before we go any further, tell us, please.
So here's the thing. Cotton is actually terrible. Like making clothes out of cotton is actually really awful for the environment, yes, because cotton is an extremely thirsty plant. And so it takes a ton of water to grow the cotton. So there's that. There's also like the pesticides and all the things that are used to grow. So you can buy organic. It's still super thirsty. It is what it is. But when it comes to like throwing clothes out or recycling, have you ever seen those like little green, they look like little houses and they say, recycle your clothes here. They'll just be in random locations, like in a parking lot.
Occasionally I've seen that,
I think that car wash we were talking about, that's also a dog wash. I think there's one over there.
Yeah, and they move, but they'll be in parking lots. So those little centers take the items, and they only recycle clothing items, so you can't like put your microwave in there or whatever. They can't do anything with that. But essentially what they do is they take it and they break the material down and they make like rags that are used at car washes or whatever. It doesn't get turned into new clothes. It gets turned into fiber, which get turned into like,
So you telling me that I can recycle my period panties?
You can. You can, and they don't have to be cotton. They can be any kind of material, but yes.
Wow, I'm glad you came on.
Yeah,
we didn't know.
Yeah, we had no idea.
I'm very interested in like sustainable fashion and stuff, because the fashion industry is like the second biggest contributor to like pollution in the environment, like second to the oil industry, and the fashion is kind of intertwined with that because a lot of fiber that we have is made from oil, like plastic, materials. So I'm super interested in that. That was kind of my first passion project.
You said upscale sewing?
It's called upcycled. Essentially, you're taking something that would otherwise be trash and then turning it into something valuable. So
you got classes for that?
I do. And so that's mostly a hobby, and I do classes just to allow me to be able to continue my hobby. Like it pays for my hobby. And then my biggest sort of motivating kind of thing, the thing that I'm passionate about is yoga, but specifically the intersections of social justice in yoga. So, I kind of am interested in how the teachings and principles and guiding things, that we can gain from yoga, not just the physical positions, but the 5,000-year-old tradition of yoga. There's just so much knowledge and
that way.
Yeah, because most of us experience yoga in a very particular way in the West. Like usually it's through core power or something like that. So I'm looking at like how do we use these teachings to advance like social change?
How have you found that? How have you answered that question so far?
So are you familiar with the frameworks for understanding oppression? There's like a 4 I's framework that's used. Okay, so it's 4 I's. So the first I is ideology. So that's like stereotypes and just things that we know that we don't necessarily agree with. So we all like know stereotypes. Like what are the stereotypes of black women? Like
we're loud,
we're angry, right?
Yeah.
So whether or not we actually believe that, the ideology exists, it's out there, and it actually shapes the way that institutions, which is the second I, interact with us.
Right.
And that shapes our interpersonal interactions, our interactions with each other. And then that is all internalized. So ideology, institutional, interpersonal, and intra or internal. And so yoga is like, how do we push back about, ideologies? Like,
So during the classes, do you talk about that?
Oh, we do. I know, it's super deep. It's a lot, but yeah. So in classes, they're an hour and a half. In the first half an hour, we just choose one topic. So maybe I'll say, like, what are some ideologies that you believed, you know? And then just journal about it or whatever. And then we'll get to, like, actually physically work it out, because there's, like, so much evidence that shows that those things actually settle in the body. Mm-hmm. And they cause, like, health issues and things like that inside the body. Wow. So that's kind of, yeah. I know.
That's intense.
I know. It's a lot, but someone's got to do the work.
Yeah. I think that's really, I've never heard of, personally, I've never heard of a yoga instructor doing that.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds
I
like
think it's just come in and you put on some calm music and they're like, all right, get into Warrior Stance 1. And you're just like, okay. And that's cool and everything, like not bashing that, but I just haven't seen this way of doing things.
Yeah, there's a place for that for sure. Mm-hmm. Like we need to be physically, you know.
Yeah, but there's also a place for this as well.
Yeah, dual purpose kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So throughout this conversation, we're going to shift gears because, like I said, I didn't know or still kind of don't know who you are, but I feel like you have a lot to say. So none of these questions are going to be linear. They're going to be all over the place.
Okay.
But I've already sent you the outline, so you've already seen it. So I'm just telling you that again. How important is your tribe to you?
Super. Yeah. I mean, man, it's crazy because, you know, my tribe has in some ways like shifted over time, but in other ways, like I have friends that I've had since I was a child, you know, since I was very young, and I think they all play a different role because the people who I've known for a long time can be like, this is something you've always, you know, this is you, like this is the core of who you are. I've been knowing you for 30 years, you know, and then my new people are like more so feeding all of the new, like, you know, growth and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to have people to kind of like check in with, to all those people represent some aspect of the core of who you are, you know?
How do you go about inviting people into your tribe or finding your tribe? For those who have like issues with that.
I know. Ooh, that's hard because I've never really had issues with that. That's something that I have issues, but those aren't my issues.
Right, I got 99 problems, but my tribe ain't one.
Right.
I'm a rapper.
No, she's not.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm a person who's always led with my heart, right? And so there are ways in which that is not beneficial to me because, you know, when your heart's wide open, it's like you're at risk, you're vulnerable. But then when you do connect with the heart of people, it's like easier to make.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's probably due to you being open to just being around different people and different experiences. Cause I feel
Can you relate? Yeah.
I just feel like, I feel like if, what she's basically trying to say, which I think I'm taking away from this, is that if you're open to new experiences and new people, different type of people, I feel like those that may have trouble finding their tribe, is maybe they have like a way of seeing how it should look or how, like the different roles that people play. Like, I don't know, say you like go to try to find a friend at a party and you think your friends or people that you want to hang out with look this way. Yeah. But maybe they don't look that way and you know, you're kind of blocking yourself from even speaking to that person or even opening up conversation to that person because they don't look the way that you think they should look. Or whatever the case may be. Yeah, that's not true. To say that those is what people are struggling with, but maybe if they just open up or being able to receive that, then they can.
What I was asking was, do you feel like you have like an open heart? Because you have a lot of friends. I think I think it's very easy for you, from the outside looking in, of course, to find a tribe or to make friends. Gotcha. So do you kind of feel like it's because you have an open heart?
I think so. And honestly, most times, if not, like I'll literally just be like sitting by myself, and then like I'll have like people randomly come to me like, hey, yeah, because my mom, like I'm like, and I don't even know this person. I'm like, did you know them? I'm like, no, I just they just told me like their whole life story, that they just got through a breakup, and their mom is like, has just had a birthday, their dog is celebrating his 5th birthday, and like and then bye, and I'm like bye, and they'll get off the train, and my friend's like, did you know them? I'm like, no, never met them before. And so yeah, I'm just like open to like just, I don't know, different people and stuff. That's why I thought that resonated with me when she said that. Yeah, it's just really weird. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I think that's why it is. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's your question. Yeah.
Okay.
Next question.
Okay.
What about you though? Like,
yeah, I think Eunice first. She has no. See, guys, everybody's listening to this. Like,
okay.
They're gonna be so offended. Like, what?
Right? What you mean?
She always says how she doesn't have a huge, like a ton of friends.
I really don't.
Okay, so the thing is though, every time I'm like asking you like, why are you going back to New Orleans? You're like, my friend this, my friend that, and I'm like, this is a new friend from the last time. Yeah, yeah.
No, she's okay. So there are people who I feel like the person who just graduated.
Yeah,
I call her my friend, but she's like not my friend.
She's like family.
So yeah, is there a difference
family.
between?
She's like a. I call her my godmother.
Oh, gotcha. So family.
No, but I met her in college. But she's not my like. She's more to me than just.
So she's like family.
To me, yeah. To my other family, no, they don't know her.
I get what you're saying, but still like family, though.
Yeah,
like, yeah.
So maybe that's why I feel like I don't have a lot of friends, because the friends that I do have and continue to have are family to me.
Gotcha.
But it's not easy. It isn't easy for me to go and like make friends or start a relationship with people, or even maintain friendships that I do have. That's always been a struggle for me. But when I was visiting with one of my friends, I just hate the word. It's just
okay. We'll say one of your tribe members.
I was visiting, yes, with a tribe member, and it was either her or her boyfriend that told me. I mean, that means we were talking about how it's hard for me to make friends or whatever, and they were like, "Well, it's probably because you don't go out looking for it. You just make genuine connections with people,
right?
Like." Like, hey, let's be friends. It's like,
no.
Oh, I like your earrings. Let's talk about it. Or, why are you like? You feel good to be around. Let's talk about that. It's not. I don't know. So I think that they're just. Sometimes I'm afraid to go and do that. So maybe that's why. I don't know, but I feel like I don't make friends well. To answer you guys' question, so but I don't feel like I have a closed heart either, though.
Yeah, no,
yeah,
I think that I think that there's just this like. Way that people connect, and I think that sometimes there's like a trade-off too, though. Like I can be an extremely social person at the expense of my own needs.
Yes. I feel go ahead.
So yeah, I could be like tired and be like, no, I'm still
yeah,
bruh.
Like
Mariah,
yeah,
she's had a stressful couple. Like I feel like it's been a couple months, but the last couple of days have been like 10s, 20s probably.
Yeah.
And I texted her yesterday, and she was like, "Oh, sorry, just coming from a Game of Thrones watch party." And I'm like, I don't know how in the hell you are not socially exhausted, because I'm socially exhausted right now.
Who are you?
And I only spent like 4 hours around a lot of people, and I'm like, I'm done. I don't want to
go home.
I'm done with people. Like I can't. Like
Same.
I can't. So
yeah, I don't know. It's not something I'm always very proud of, because there are times where, here's the thing, like we have needs, right? Like there's there's this pot of needs, right? That has to be filled.
Right.
And if we're not filling that pot ourselves, we're going to seek it elsewhere, and so that's like not always a good formula either, right? Because like then you're essentially asking people to do something, whether they are capable or not, whether they desire to or not, that you could be doing for yourself. So.
Yeah. I think that can kind of go into relationships, kind of expecting certain things out of a person. You're like, and the other person's like, I never told you I could do that.
Right.
You never told me that you wanted that until now.
You've never seen me do that. I've never, like, I'm not that person that you want me to be.
Yeah.
I don't possess those qualities that you expect me to have.
Or even if they once have done those things.
People are ever changing.
Yes.
Like day by day.
And I want to be allowed to grow and change. So
Okay,
I have to be...
Please. I'd allow you the space to grow and change too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, but I think that there is some benefit to seeking balance with that, right? Like if you are an extremely social person, making sure that you take time to tend to yourself.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, so the thing about that is when I was like younger, like I was always like really like, I won't say like shy, because I don't think I was ever shy.
Me either.
Bitch.
I don't think you ever.
Sorry, y'all.
You came out the womb like
this. She even cuss her out, y'all. But I just had a very powerful mother, and still do. Still very powerful and strong. So her power was overpowering of me, I think, in a way. So people would see us, they'd be like, "Oh, you're like quiet and shy." I'm like, but I'm not. Like,
I'm just
not my mom.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it was always that dynamic. So even in high school, I suppose I always had like friends that were like me that weren't like shy or quiet, but we just only spoke when we had something worth speaking of. But when I got older, I'm like, well, let me try to, I guess, reinvent myself. Unknowingly, didn't even know this, but unknowingly try to reinvent myself in college and be more social. And now I'm like,
a social butterfly.
I don't want to talk to you. It's like really hard because I've already made this persona, and it's like I don't want to be mean, but sometimes it's very hard to say, no, I don't want to engage in the conversation right now. I'm like kind of exhausted, don't want to talk. But it's super hard to kind of back away from that and say, you know what, love you dearly, but I need 10.
It's a practice for
really
sure.
hard.
But, you know, sometimes when we do the things that we need to do, it like teaches other people how to do those things too. So in a way, you could be like gifting them by telling
Absolutely,
them.
Absolutely, yeah. And you just have more energy to give later on. You don't want to give somebody a burnt out version of yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
that's not doing anyone any favors.
Yeah. Do you think that you like created your community like with yoga?
Okay, so how I came to yoga was through community because actually it was kind of funny because I had done a couple yoga classes here and there and I wasn't really feeling like the experience, but I liked yoga.
Gotcha.
And so I was like, I don't know how I wanted to. So I had told my mom, like, I want to do a yoga teacher training, but I think I want to fly out to like New York or Atlanta or something to do it. And then my mom called me like a week later and she was like, hey, there's this yoga teacher training. It's starting tomorrow. Do you want to do it? I was like, what? She's like, it's yoga for teacher training for people of color.
Wow.
And I was like, can we do that? I was really like, I don't even know if that's legal, you know. I was like, we're going to get sued, you know. But so my mom and I both went through this teacher training and it was so, I can't even tell you. It really changed my whole life because like before I did that teacher training, I was just resigned, you know, like I was like, well, so I was in my early 30s and I had back problems and I was just sick and like real sick. And I was just like, well, this is just what happens as you get older, you know, like in my mind, I was thinking like, you know, and then through the course of that, I, you know, physically healed. And then I just started being able to like really identify what do I want. Like I started to be able to envision the life that I want for myself. And that's what led to my divorce. Like it's funny because I'm always like, yoga gave me my divorce. It's so great. Yeah. And he's like wonderful man and everything, but it was not the life for me, you know? Yeah. So it's interesting because, yes, like I feel like my tribe is, I'm continuing to build a tribe through yoga, but also like that's where I even recognize sort of the value of it and stuff, you know, is through that teacher training, which, by the way, quick plug, Satya Yoga is the first all people of color owned yoga co-op in the country, and it's here in Denver. So that's
what the
super dope. Yeah,
Denver, right? Denver, Colorado.
That's cool.
Come up. So yeah, I mean, there's no like physical space. Like all the teachers kind of teach in different spots, but that's a beautiful thing for our city. So
they have like a website and everything.
Okay, it's Satya, Satya, Satya Yoga.
Cool.
Yeah, we're gonna plug everything in the description below. Y'all know how that goes. Y'all know how we do it. It's crazy because every time I hear somebody say they got a divorce, they're like, it's the best thing that ever happened to me. Like,
I mean, if it was a happy marriage, you wouldn't get divorced.
Right.
Well,
I guess so.
that part.
It's like freeing a little bit. When you say that the life wasn't for you, do you mean marriage wasn't for you, or?
I mean, truthfully, I've always been a person that's like not
traditional.
Yeah, in a lot of ways. In a lot of ways, I'm traditional, but I was like really critical of marriage anyway. But I didn't have like the inner resources that I needed to be like, I'm not gonna do that. I was really young when we got together. I was 19, and we just like flowed right into marriage and kids, and I didn't have a wedding or anything. I was just like, I don't want to do any of that. I didn't change my name, but I signed the papers so that I could like, essentially what I didn't want is for my like family to be like, you shacked up. I wanted them to still view me as being like a responsible person. So I was like, we signed the paper, we're married, but
I was like, hey,
shit.
I got some, yeah. Talk about that later. Off record.
If I could go back, I wouldn't do it in that way. But yeah, I think the institution is, maybe just could stand for some examining, just critically looking at that. But I think overall the situation just wasn't right for me because I hadn't really developed myself enough to be in a healthy relationship. And neither had he. So it was just very unhealthy. Even though we were both babies. We were both lovely people, I think. Yeah. But we just weren't healthy enough.
Probably, yeah. You said the marriage institution needs to be examined. What ideas do you have
to examine it?
Or
to alter it?
Give me some examples. Talk about it.
I mean, just...
in your opinion. This is her opinion. Fuck.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, what's the purpose of it? Like, what's the purpose of the actual signing of papers and whatnot? Because it's not about partnership, because you could just be in a partnership with somebody. But you have to, like, tell the government, like, we're married now. I don't understand why that's necessary. And I'm also not, like, religious, and so there's that aspect, too. Like, I think, but even if I was, you can still make a covenant before God. It doesn't have to be an interaction with the government, And so here's the thing. When we wanted to get married, we walked in, we did our little thing, and we didn't even pay because I didn't have cash, and I thought I'd be able to pay on a card, right? So the judge was just like, oh, no, it's cool. It's my wedding gift to you and everything, right? So it was beautiful. But when we went to get divorced... money, so much paperwork, and I just thought, like, if they would make people do all of this shit, like, on the front end, I guarantee you that many people would not get married. If you had to really think through all of that, like, okay, if this ends, who's gonna get what, how are we gonna go about dividing time with the kid, all that stuff on the front end, then, like, I'm pretty sure people would be like, let's talk this through more, at least. But it's super easy to enter marriage.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I see it happen all the time for a month, and then it's like, okay, I'm
not even trying to be ignorant, but not because ignorant means you don't know. Because I do know this for a fact that most Black people, if not every Black person that I've seen in marriage, like my aunties and uncles that are older, like 50, 60, they ain't never got divorced. Wait, we know they're not together no more. Like, auntie, uncle, they ain't together. But we don't know they ain't never got no divorce because they not paying no money. Just you stay over there, I stay over here. Got my girlfriend, you got your boyfriend. I'm not saying nothing. We not together, okay? Don't say we're married. We're not married. Okay, we moved on. We just not divorced. I mean, in the family's eyes, we know we're divorced or separated, but government probably thinks we're still been married for 40, 50 years. We've been divorced for 20. Yeah.
So, well, I mean,
so crazy.
It's a pain in the ass for sure. Like, it's not easy. It's exhausting.
I'm trying to true.
And you gotta go tell other people about your business and your life and stuff. You have to examine it in a way that you never have. It's very hard and painful. Even if you're like, it's even if you're on good terms and stuff, it's still really challenging. So, and then the whole thing is like, there's women have the ability to like provide for ourselves and stuff now, whereas we didn't before. So a contract made sense, right? Like if you didn't have the ability to provide for yourself, you would be like, I want you to sign a contract saying you're going to take care of me, right?
Yeah.
But we don't have to do that no more because we can provide for ourselves.
Personally,
Oh gosh.
in my opinion, I think that's a tradition that I just really want.
Yeah.
Why? I couldn't give you that, but I just feel like it's just what I want and it's what I picture for my life.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that it is important to explore why do you want to get married,
Yeah.
you know, what that means to you, and is it for you or is it for your family? But I know for me, when I do get married, it's not going to be like this big lavish thing, but I just feel like it's something between me and my partner.
Mm-hmm.
I had a story, but you know how my mind is.
Your mind just okay.
I think that's really
going.
beautiful. I really do. I just think it's super important for you to know for yourself and to really follow your intuition on
and
it.
I do need a form paperwork because I ain't trying to provide for myself. I'm trying to.
Oh God!
I'm just saying. So yes, we can sign that contract. We can write that check. Okay.
Oh my God, y'all! And she's not playing.
I'm dead ass. Write that check. I'm just saying.
Well, this is your friend.
I can provide for myself. I just don't want to. I just don't want to. So that part.
Oh God.
So speaking of
She's
things
not
that make me
playing.
happy, how important is it for you to do things that make you happy?
Very, because the things that make you happy are really kind of getting you back to the essence of who you are. It's like just when you let go of like all the bullshit, because we just suss through it every day, just in the course of a normal day, going through the grocery store, we're bombarded with like messages that tell us that we ain't shit and that we need to buy this stuff to make ourselves happier and all these things. You know what I mean? And so when you do things that just like get to the core of who you are, it's like essentially saying fuck you to all of that. Like it's just like, this is making me happy,
So what are some of the things that you do for yourself to maintain sanity in this crazy ass world?
Yeah.
And how often do you do those things?
I like to hike, but I do not fuck with the mountains in the winter at all.
Fuck no. I ain't going.
This is what I do, and I'm just like,
I know
wow,
that's
more power
not
to
for
you.
me.
Right.
Yeah, it's not for me. So I do like to hike in the summer. I like to dance. I like to sing. I like to just kind of like be in community spaces. So whatever that might look like, a farmer's market, or I like to attend like workshops and things like that where I can be around people. I really enjoy engaging in just conversation and reading books.
Not me.
No.
But
Yeah. In the community space part.
I like doing things like going to festivals and stuff like that. But that whole I don't know. Sometimes like I just need to like take a break. Like I can't. So I can go to this workshop, but I'm gonna need a break, and I'm gonna need to go be by myself. Like I don't want to have lunch with y'all. I want to go probably, but I'm gonna need some time alone by myself to be by myself.
Yeah.
Really, Yana?
Yes. And people be like, "What's wrong?" And I'll be like, "Nothing's wrong. I just need a moment. I just need a moment." Yeah.
I mean, I think it's really beautiful that you know that about yourself, because that's like half the battle is just knowing you.
Word
what
up.
you need.
Word to moms. Do you have any questions, Mariah?
No, I'm just gonna say thanks for coming on the show.
Okay.
And like being honest and open.
Yeah, for sure. I hate that I lose my train of thought so fast.
All the time.
I really hate that. Like, I really had something. It was so profound. It was so good, but I don't know.
That's why you asked me first. That's why you asked me about anything, because you wanted to
Well,
rethink
what do
your
you
answer.
do to do the things like that you really
That I
don't
love and that makes me happy. Well, I don't know. What do I do? This podcast is one of the outlets for sure. I would say my YouTube channel that I have is really cool when I actually dedicate time to it, because I have been lacking on that for quite some time now. But most of all, just
I would say spending time with your friends. Sometimes family.
And myself. Yeah, I like to be by myself sometimes.
Which is fucking mind-blowing.
Yeah, no. My boyfriend always... It's really funny because I think when you live with somebody, you kind of, like, see who they are, like, at their core. And now that we're living together, I think that he sees that, like, I'm, like, the epitome of an only child. Like, I get, like, so much happiness from being by myself. Like, every weekend, he'll be like, what are you doing? And I'm just, like... with my hoodie on and, like, my glasses and some ice cream in the bed, like, staying home. Like, he was like, okay, I'll see you later. Like, he'll be going out with his friends, like, going out to the club and stuff, and he'll come back in, like, 1 or 2, and I'm, like, still there, still watching TV, like, content, so happy. And he's like, babe, you have to get out and do something. And I'm like, I've been out and doing stuff all week. Right. Like, I go to work, and I come to podcasts, and I, hang out with friends, or I do this and this, and, like, by the weekend, I'm like, I want to be by myself. Yeah. So, I like recharging. It's one of my favorite activities. And then, hanging out with my friends and family, that's cool, too. Like, and I get the time to do that because we're also busy. We're adulting now, and we don't really have time to meet up. So when we do have time to meet up, like, once or twice a month, I try to take advantage of that as much as I can.
For sure.
So
I feel like guys be feeling bad for you, and they be like, "What are you doing this weekend?" Because they know they about to go out and do something.
Yeah,
so
he would get me exactly like, so what you about to do? I'm like, stay home. What you about to do? He's like, well, me and Johnny about to go grab some drinks. And I'm like, great, bye. Like, later, see ya. Like, I don't even care.
Gosh.
I think because that maybe in their instinct, like, is she gonna ask me like to stay home with her? And I'm like, I never asked her to stay home. I'm like,
I don't care.
Bye.
Right.
Please, because you've been irritating me too. You can go. You can not come back for a day or two.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I was listening to a podcast, watching a documentary, something, and there was an only child talking. She was like, I'm just used to spending time with myself and having conversations with myself, like entertaining myself.
Listen, so Jalon will wake up and he'll like hear me talking. And he'll be like, who are you talking to? And I'm like, myself. He was like, were you praying? I'm like, I guess I was talking to myself, but maybe God overheard. I don't know. I was literally talking to myself. Bruh. Here you come. Messing it up. So yeah, now I have my own little space that I like try to talk to myself because he will literally like make me feel like a crazy person because I'm talking to myself. I'm like, who doesn't talk to themselves?
I don't know.
There's some people out there who don't have internal dialogue, and that just is mind blowing to me. That's the thing. Some people don't talk to themselves.
When you say internal dialogue, do you mean talking in their mind?
In your head, yeah, even outside too, but mostly inside your head. Some people don't talk to themselves.
Oh.
I got the stats on
I be trying to get her to shut the fuck up sometimes.
Yeah,
like, okay, give me a break.
All of them can shut up. Right now, you know?
Shh. Fuck.
Whatever.
Oh, man. Yes.
That's it.
So that was it for Melanin Message, you guys. So we can get into our individual segments. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
I'll go first. Okay. So we can continue the conversation in Yogi.
Okay, perfect.
So for Convos with Mariah, I asked you all on Instagram if, you have any questions regarding yoga, and if you had any questions specifically for our guest today. And my question actually was, do you have any questions, like what's your favorite thing about yoga, or do you have any questions or comments about yoga in general? And I got a few questions from you, a few responses from you all, and the responses that I got, one was from Old Jaw. I believe he knows the answer to this. He was just helping us out. So thanks for...
Was he the first person?
Of course he was.
I just love how supportive he is. He's been posting our stuff. He'll answer your questions. He's like on it.
He do.
Hey, Ja.
Thanks, Ja. So he said, what is yoga? Like, what does yoga mean?
It's a great question.
That is.
Listener.
Yes, that's a super good question.
Super.
So yoga actually, like, literally translated means to yoke, which that to me doesn't actually mean anything. To yoke does
means nothing.
Okay. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
No.
So essentially,
sound like breakfast.
Right.
Definitely did.
Essentially, what it means is to bring like all of the things into balance. So yoga is a full system, right? It's not just like poses that you do on a mat, although that is a part of it. Yoga is this full system that helps you to achieve or access the highest version of yourself, sort of the highest like evolution of you.
Awesome.
When I seen that question when you reposted it, I said, I bet you that's Joanne.
It
I said, I bet you that's. I knew that it was
that
him.
is. He he texted me today, and there was 6 text messages ask for this. I'm I can't ask for all that. Thanks. We'll get to it.
Oh my god.
He sent that and then he texted me okay, well,
I gotta respond.
Then I'm saved to you. Alethea, Aalythia. She had a comment, so I'll ask if this is something that you resonate with as well. She said yoga to her is moving meditation.
Yeah, I mean, yes, it can be that. It can be just in and of itself, even just the physical practice on the mat can be a practice that carries through into other things, right? Those things that you do on the mat are translatable. So, for example, if you go to a studio, for example, your ego jumps in, right? And your ego's you need to be stretchier. You need to be stronger. And you're looking around and you're damn, that person's hella stretchy. And so then you're doing things that aren't really kind to your body because you're trying to keep up with other people. And so you could practice just on your mat, practice being kind to yourself by honoring your own body where it's at.
Gotcha.
Right? You could be I'm going to make this a practice. And then when I go to work, I'm going to be kind to myself by not trying to keep up with Becky or whatever.
Yeah. I noticed that when I went to yoga class a few times, I remember hearing the instructor say, be kind to your body. And it's be kind. Don't do that. You know you can't do that. Or even getting out of the practice of yoga and then getting back into it feeling so bad. And then remembering, okay, if you need to use this block to do this pose, do it. You know, if you need to go into child's pose to take a break, do that. So yeah.
And it's hard because you're but everyone else is doing something else.
So you really do feel bad about it, but
not after enough practice, because I used to feel bad and now I'm I'm taking a 10-minute shavasana. I don't care if everyone's getting up. I need this rest.
That's my favorite pose anyway. I'm that is my favorite pose anyway.
Well,
okay.
I don't know what y'all rushing for. We got 30 minutes of class left.
Fucking annoying, bro.
For real. That segues into my next one, which was James Morey. James, as in James, H. Morey said, he said, yoga is horrible, yo. It's supposed to help you relax. I don't be relaxed. I be defeated. And I think it kind of coincides with what you just said. If you just kind of focus on yourself.
And then here's the other part of that too. I used to feel like shit when I went to yoga because of the culture of the studios that I was going to, and then when I experienced it in the way that I did, that was more in line with the tradition of yoga, I didn't feel like shit. And so some of that is coming from outside, and if you haven't been given those tools or haven't developed those tools, then you very easily could feel that way because that's just a part of the human, I think, experience.
Yeah.
Is to, that's a part of how we learn is by watching other people. And, so being able to learn without being harsh on yourself is a huge practice.
Yeah.
Let me empathize with you, James.
Yeah.
Let me empathize with you. There has been a lot of yoga classes that I went to, and I fucking hated it the start to the finish. I'm oh my god, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. Oh my god, please. Can we get out of this pose, please? I've done that a lot. But just it's a practice, so it's not gonna be you do it one day or even 2 days or even a week or a month or a year, and it's gonna be okay, I got this. It's an ever-changing, ever-evolving thing. It's normal to feel defeated at first, because like I said, I've been there to where I'm 5 minutes into class and I'm done. Mentally, I'm done. But I just keep going through, and then at the last 5 minutes, I'm oh great, I'm feeling it, and then it's over. And it's okay, I made it through. I made it through, and then Savasana is really my favorite pose. I'd be oh yes.
Yeah.
So I feel you. You're not alone.
Yeah,
for sure.
I say you're not alone either.
Just give it a few more tries. Go to few different studios, have a
Find
few
different teachers.
experiences.
Yeah, I
and
think I
like,
need to do the same
is this
thing.
person? Do we know if this person is in Denver?
Yes, he's in Denver.
Okay, well, there is a men's yoga class
Which
on Wednesdays,
is
which
good.
is super dope
Yeah.
because apparently men don't like to do as much with their hips as women like to do and stuff like that. So I would check that out. Like, and there's ways to approach yoga that don't start on a yoga mat. So I'd also consider that. And yeah, I don't know. As a teacher, I try to think about things like that. So another one of the things that I didn't love about when I first experienced yoga is it felt like an environment where you had to be like very quiet and serious, and like there was no room for silliness or questions or anything like that.
Yeah.
And so I try to create an environment where someone can be like, is it supposed to feel like, you know, like where
Right.
people can ask or laugh or,
Right.
you know, or get up and go get some water and not feel like they're interrupting the whole, like,
Right.
you know.
I like that because that's why I don't like yoga as we speak. My boyfriend's really trying to get me back into that, and I don't like it as much 'cause every time I have that experience. The opposite of what you just said, that you're trying to make your space be. But yeah, so I would say, I would encourage you, if you're, you know, if it's something that you want to do, of course not pressuring you to, but if you're something that actually you want to incorporate into your life, give it a try. Go to men's yoga on Wednesdays.
Yeah, but don't do it if it doesn't feel good.
Right,
Like,
yeah, don't
if you're
force it
like,
upon
oh, this
yourself.
hurts, stop doing it.
Yeah, it's not
Find
for
another way,
everyone.
yeah.
I've also been in
You have
yoga
to force
class.
yourself.
I don't know if this guy's like a bigger guy, like a more built guy.
Yeah, he is.
I've been to yoga classes with guys who are more muscular, and it's really hard for them to get into certain positions. So I think that it's also helpful for them to have a guys class because they can kind of cater to that, you know, bulkier guy or whatever who's like, I cannot get into that pose because my muscles just won't allow me to do that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
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 Thanks for sharing, James, because I know
Yes.
that probably took some courage to be the only one to be like, actually,
I fucking hate this shit.
that's what y'all talking about. It's just Angel _
Hey girl, hey!
for real. How can we make sure that yoga practice honors everybody? Ability, size, etc.
Oh, you are speaking my language.
Yes, I love Angel.
I'm like,
I love
please,
you so
yes,
much.
follow me at Heart for Solidarity. That's literally my whole mission, is to make it accessible, like in all the ways, you know. So all my classes are donation based because that's one form of accessibility, right? Like if there wasn't donation based yoga, I never would have come to yoga because I can't afford that, you know. I can't afford yoga studio prices, and so all my classes are donation based. And then another reason why I try to create an environment where people can ask questions and feel like they are, you know, that it is just their practice. It belongs to them, is so that people can say like, what do I do with my belly when I, you know, am in this pose because my belly's in the way?
I know, bruh.
Yeah.
Bruh. Okay.
I was intentional about choosing space that has wheelchair access because there's a lot of poses that you can do from a seated position. And I'm seeking further guidance to deal, you know, with issues of physical accessibility. And, you know, I think that there are a lot of ways in which yoga is not made accessible. One of the ways is through representation. Like, you know, if you Google yoga right now, you're probably going to see like a super thin, middle-aged white woman. And that's like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? And so I think that a part of that is just saying like this, you know, I'm explicit about who my classes are for. My classes are for everybody and everybody.
Yeah.
Right. And a part of what we do, that introspective work that we do at the beginning of our classes, is about interrogating, you know, what we think certain bodies are capable of. And, you know, so yeah, I'm super interested in that. And I'm always open to like feedback as to how I could do better, you know.
I felt her with that. Where do I put my belly? Because sometimes he be getting in the way, and I'm like,
sometimes you
just
gotta
trying to
lift
have
it,
some
you
fun
know.
okay. I'm like, dang, I can't get into this position right because my belly's in the way, so I like suck it in, and that's like fucking up my breathing, and you know, kind of. So yeah, I feel you on that, sis.
Yeah. That's it. I think my last one from Virgo Mama Joy 8. She just said, I'll just wrap it up with this. Is,
Okay.
When you step on your mat, it's like a metaphysical connection that's been waiting for you. So that's what I'll end it with. That's
I've
how
had
she
some of
interprets
those.
yoga.
I've had some of those classes too, where it's like everybody's on the same page and everybody's like flowing, and it's like my mind is like not on one particular thing. It's just like free. So I've had a few of those experiences, and being honest, I've had more like challenging yoga classes than the ones where it's like but those ones keep me going. Those 5 or so classes that I had that made me feel like this feels really good to me. This feels really good to my body, my mind.
Yeah,
that's what keeps me going.
I mean, here's the thing. Okay, imagine somebody. I don't want to offend anyone here. I'm trying to choose a safe
Just
person.
say it, girl.
Imagine a person's first experience of hip hop was Eminem, and they were like, they judged all of the history and all of everything, all of the culture based on this one person. It's not that Eminem isn't doing the thing, but Eminem's doing like his very specific way, which is through his lens as like a white man, right? So now, like, that metaphor for yoga, right? Like, so we're often experiencing yoga through like a very white lens, and it's completely removed from all this culture and all this history and stuff. And it's like, something about this doesn't feel completely integrated. There's a reason why, it feels that way. And when you feel like a little more authenticity in those classes, you're just like, oh, okay, that's what was missing, know?
In about 97% of the classes that I've been to, I haven't learned anything about what yoga is or the history of yoga. Let's just flow through these poses.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I think it's an interesting thing. And I was talking to my yoga teacher about that. She comes from the tradition and, and the culture and everything. She's an Indian woman. And I was like, how am I not appropriating this? This isn't my tradition and stuff. And she's like, but you know how it feels when like people use an art form or something to really heal themselves and stuff like that. And then the difference between when they use it, just they monetize it for their own personal gain. It's like you can feel the difference. That's kind of how she described it to me. So I don't know.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Definitely does.
So transitioning into You and Dish from Convos with Mariah. Since we're just talking about feeling good and stuff like that, what food makes you feel good, and what food, like separate, like fruits, vegetables make you feel good, and then like what meals make you feel good? So that's like your body.
Yeah.
Goes. And then what's like your, okay, I don't give a fuck how this make me feel, I really want this. Like, this is
I need those hot chips. Give it to me.
Oh, that list is actually really long.
I'll just take a couple.
I know.
I'll just take a couple.
I feel like I was not meant to live in like this dry, mountainous like environment. I feel like I was meant to be in a tropical environment. So I really
Jamaica.
Yeah.
I just said Jamaica.
I thought you said Jamaica. I'm like, who is
I just want to
Jamaica?
go to Jamaica as
Me
like a
too.
girls trip.
We should do it. We should do it.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Okay.
Jamaica's lovely. I would love to live someplace where I could just pick a mango off a tree, But so I like more tropical fruits, but also I don't have access to that all the time, and so my go-to is like apples, just old school, simple.
Yeah, apple.
I also have children, so I'm always slicing apples for them anyway, so it's like, oh, this is cool, it's diverse, I could eat it with almond butter, I could eat it with yogurt or whatever. And then but my, like, if I could only choose one food to eat for the rest of my life, it would be Ethiopian food.
Really?
Yes.
That's so funny. Her mom's Ethiopian. She's our guest last week.
Oh.
Is it? Oh, well, my ex is
Eritrean.
Ethiopian, which is
That's
how I
crazy.
came to Ethiopian food.
Your what?
Initially, my ex-husband.
Oh, okay.
So, my kids are true African Americans.
Literally.
Yeah.
Goals. Goals.
Yeah, I could definitely live on that, like, for the rest of my life and never get tired of it. I don't know what it is about it, but...
Do you cook Ethiopian food?
there's like a couple of dishes that I feel confident about.
Aww.
There's a couple of dishes that I would actually serve to a Habesha person. And not feel self-conscious, right?
Yeah.
But there's some other things where I'm like, you can't eat this. Like, I'll eat it and I'll be happy.
Can you make injera?
No.
She was like, that's not what I said.
That's deep, yeah,
That's not
I mean,
part
it's
of
like
the
how
dishes.
many people actually make their bread in general? Like,
True.
in life, you know?
I don't
It's
even
really
know
hard.
everything that's in the bread. So.
It takes a while for the yeast to even rise.
Yeah.
It's just a lot.
My ex-husband's family, like my in-laws, are that's what they do for a living. They make injera, and they sell it like the different markets and stuff. Because nobody wants to do that.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. And you have to get it just right. You know, there's like temperatures. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
It's crazy.
Yeah. I watched a video on it once and I was like, nope.
Nope. I'll just buy it. It's fine.
Nope. So thank you for sharing. And I will let you plug yourself for the Black business. So give us your Instagram, if you have websites to give.
Look, I did all that, right? No?
This
Okay,
is
do it again.
This is the portion for
it. Okay, here's
Yes.
the little section. All right, so I have my Instagram page for yoga is Heart for Solidarity. And the yoga group that I'm associated with is Satya Yoga, Satya. So Satya Yoga Collective.
Is it on Instagram?
You was about to look it up.
Is it on
Coming
Instagram?
through the plug.
Yeah, I think it's Satya Yoga like co-op or something. Let's see.
And do they have the different classes on that? Do they
Yeah,
have the
so
class
all
schedule,
the
I guess?
teachers are on there. There's some really dope teachers, y'all. Like there's whatever the thing is that you need. My friend, actually, every time I hear Yuna, I think of Yuda, who's a friend that teaches yoga on Monday nights.
Maybe I'm a
Yuda's
yoga
classes
teacher,
are
y'all.
so
Yes,
dope.
yes.
Like they're like relaxing. Those are the classes you want to go to when you feel like you're about to
Explode.
Yeah. I mean, and all the time for maintenance, but her classes are very relaxing. And then my friend Natasha teaches classes that are more along the lines of like strength building and stuff like that. So it's a slow enough flow to where you feel like your head's not going to explode, but it feels good. You know, you feel it in your body. And there's all kinds of teachers. They're all people of color. There's one of my people teaches yoga in Spanish, so yeah, accessible. SatyaYogaCooperative.com. It used to be collective, but now it's officially a co-op. So,
all right, I'll put that in the link below.
And then that's mostly what I do. I teach the sewing classes. That's Kin Art on Instagram as well, but
Ken or
Kin. Good question. Yeah, Kin as in family. That's it. That's mostly what I do.
All right, so that's where you can find her. Do you want me to never mind, I'll ask you afterwards. So yeah, that's where you can find her. And we want to thank you so much.
Thank you
for coming on the
so
show.
Yeah, she came a long way.
Cool.
She lives far.
Oh, I missed that conversation.
Yes.
I stepped out of the room. But thank you for coming.
Yeah,
thank you for
thank
spending
you.
time with us. Thank you for sharing your energy with us.
Thank you.
And yeah, that's all I have.
Yeah.
Thank you. Do you have any?
Thank you times 10.
Thank
Thank you for coming, seriously, because from where you live.
Yeah.
Thanks.
That's why, yes, podcasts. That gets me through my drive.
Yeah.
Do you have any final words for our listeners?
No word. Namaste.
Namaste. Namaste. All right, y'all.
Thank you for listening.